well,
Yeah.
it's because if the gate's stuck open, then my livestock's there.
I know, that's what I meant, yeah, no, so that's saying, Dan, do you have any keys? Mike? No. And Mark, no, so the only keys is Susie's one key.
Yeah.
I did find the other set of keys,
Okay.
so the ones Lyndon had are accounted for and in the set. And then whatever you personally are signed out,
Yeah.
that's your record,
Sarah,
but all our
myself,
keys are
Troy.
accounted for,
Okay.
okay?
Good, that was we were missing that set of keys.
Yeah,
The other thing is, access. Again, going back to previous boards, there have been paperwork removed out of there. I think we just set up, like we were talking about earlier, a monthly let's walk through, get some feedback from whichever board member, any and all board members that would like to be there.
Yep.
Point things out, that would be awesome, that would be extremely helpful to me. But, accessing the sewer district and all the files and everything when there's nobody there needs to be another precedent set to where that's not allowed, because, files have gone missing, you know, from previous boards.
Okay.
So that needs to be addressed, in my opinion.
We did, well, you know, we talked about it, we already limited access by physical key. And I do agree with you on having our end of the month, like we just did, to walk
Yeah,
through.
absolutely.
And having board, that way they can ask questions, see what's going on, and it gives you fair opportunity to address them beforehand. So, that's all.
Can I make a suggestion? I had talked to Shanda at the bank today. We currently do not have a safety deposit box.
Oh, okay,
We can get a small one. She would just need something signed by everyone saying, we would like to get a safety deposit box. This is who will be on it,
Gotcha.
whatever, something signed. And then my suggestion would be that extra set of keys can go in that safety deposit box, the zip drive,
Oh,
the
yeah.
books, like,
the titles, the
Yeah.
equipment, all that, yeah, I agree.
okay,
I don't have no problem with that, all the access stuff is in one location.
right,
And-
yeah,
and
as
we're
like an
fine.
emergency backup.
Did she give you a cost?
No, I can type up a thing tomorrow and Chris can run
Can you
around
do
and
it?
get
Yep,
signatures
please.
and then I'll figure out
Yeah,
how much
so-
it would be and.
Security, well, yeah, I know, that's a good idea, cause we
Yeah.
need to, like I said, the backups, for the, you know, your computer,
Yeah.
Right.
keys, titles,
And if that's the case, I think there needs to be some kind of language in there that says like, hey.
authorization
it's
parties.
authorization.
The bank
You
will
can
make you
open
do
it.
that.
Nobody can just go in
It's
there.
2 people.
Exactly.
We've already had that set up, so it'll have to be 2 people.
Yeah.
So no one person can go get whatever they want out of it.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Alright, so that's an action, make sure we're doing a good job. Bylaws, Susie?
Well, I feel like our bylaws are just kind of a suggestion to some board members. And, it's disappointing that, if it doesn't fit into the agenda, that it's not being followed. Most recently, 2 board members accessed the district on a weekend and went through things. Instead of contacting the manager, setting up an appointment, or asking for information, which is the protocol that they should be following.
Where's that in the bylaws?
You know, let's see.
And on that subject, he was tasked and given information. Granted, he was not on site for the review, but that's what we had the discussion about yesterday.
Both director and public access to information shall be obtained through written request to the general manager in compliance with the Freedom of Information Act. A text does not constitute.
Or we didn't request any information from him.
And
This
we
was
didn't
an
go
on-site
through anything
visit.
either.
This was just an on-site visit, there was no documentation requested, no financials requested.
Well, once again, I don't believe that access, that free access by board members to go into the offices is,
Well, I read that, I read that
It's
as,
public comment.
Alright, so the big thing out of that is we've had issues with that on every damn board this year. Somebody thinks they're gonna go out to the site and say, oh, you're gonna do it this way or whatever. That's been just the rule of thumb out there forever. That's why some of the things was like, oh yeah, I was out there with the manager, well, it was married to the manager, whatever the hell it was. It was just like, you had to have 2 people out there when you were
that's.
But yeah, written, that's why that stuff was put into place too, so you guys aren't out trying to be on your own. And you gotta remember the other thing, when you're talking about going through these different rules and have your little work party, you're gonna have a quorum there, so you could potentially make decisions, but being a quorum, you gotta have it open to the public.
Mhm.
So I would recommend too, that you might get some old timers that have been around, that they might wanna come in here and help you with some of that stuff and go through it.
It's
So
been an
maybe
open,
on a proactive approach with that, get that word out there that, hey, we wanna start looking into how things are supposed to be
Yep.
done. And then I think you probably get more people there.
okay,
I got
no, I
one.
mean, that's a.
Mark Johnson. Considering, security, there are several things that you brought up, the keys, the QuickBooks. The more security you got, the better. I'm not saying anybody's gonna do anything bad now, but in the past they did, in the future they can do. So let's do the security. Let's do the things he's asking for.
Yep.
Thank you.
No, we agree, cause that's the,
I just wanna make sure I got it on the cover.
yeah, no, and it is, cause security was been an issue, and like we said, it's not everybody here thing, stuff had walked off, and literally, our computer that had all the files and everybody's account on it, walked out of the district. You know, that's the one that hurt the most, cause that literally had everybody's shit in
So
it.
more security is better.
Yeah, I agree.
So let's not fight over it, just do it.
Yeah.
Also, on that note, if I could real quick, I was talking to you about getting a hold of the county to, figure out property. That is the only, the avenue that you have to get the current owners on the properties.
Right.
So that is something that
I
you
have a
need to
list
do.
of stuff, and quite honestly, I'll probably just spend a day going to town, hitting up
Yep.
all of those offices and getting what I need or asking the questions I need.
Is that for ownership?
Does the board understand what it involves to go to the county to get information filed?
Oh, God, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's why I have questions for you, cause some things don't seem like.
Yeah.
But that's where you're gonna find the property owners and stuff on it, get those.
All right.
those signatures.
Well, let's get back to
Two things
subject.
on that, sorry.
We jumped to security, which we already went through.
Yeah.
Alright,
Very
we're on
important.
it. Everybody's gonna work on security procedures and protocols, and remember, Chris, this is your protocol, so get them written down and put them in place. Back to what Susie's talking about, the bylaws.
Yeah.
Any comments, statements, or complaints about bylaws and procedurals? Okay, no action. Residential pumps and bills, Chris?
So if I may with Frank for a moment, he might have an answer for me to this question. So Frank, here's over by your place is not on this map, but, we have this lift station here, privately owned lift station here. Does this lift station take all of your
No.
waste? So that one's a single.
So that even
Yours-
just the layout,
yours and his.
there's other lots within
Yeah,
here.
but they pump all the way up to Sleepy Hollow.
Okay, so
Yours
that
does.
comes up to the blue house there, the folks'
Yeah.
house. So that this one here has the lift
Mhm.
within the tank. The power is to the property.
Right.
It's not to the
Right,
district.
we pay for this one.
This one is because when this was developed, there's two different properties in there, there's another subdivision. So again, you'll be able to find, and that was approved to the
That
district.
answers my question.
This was separate on that, there's cricks all over down there, that's why even Staley came up with that, with the tank, with the lift within the tank, to be able to satisfy those areas, so you could pump into another lift station or pump up into, making it, that's how it gets into.
So, that answers my question. If any of the board members would like to look at this map, I have two of them here.
It was an elevational thing, correct?
Right,
You know,
but
the pump
this
is
Could be,
hooked up
or it could be just cricks or something.
We-
going under
with the
cricks.
water, yeah.
in-
I think that's the same procedure we used on First Street with that other one that was in the creek bottom.
Yeah.
And pumping him up and into the other,
Yeah.
this is, yeah,
My point on this is we need to get some kind of, resolution in place that says, if somebody, like at the end of Fourth Street came in and decided they wanted to put an apartment complex and stick us with the electric bill for that, we don't have anything that I'm aware of.
no,
In
you're right,
writing
that was
that
the one I brought up
prevents that.
earlier about having that demarcation
Can
line.
I finish that?
Absolutely.
So every single property in here, at least has a hookup, okay?
Right.
So if somebody wants to come in and open up an apartment complex, or open up a RV court or whatever, we can do that, we can take it, you encourage it, but that's an annexation because it's no longer just a single
And that's the form I,
septic tank.
yeah.
That's the issue out of it.
and Chris, that's
Okay,
the form
so-
I gave you
Oh.
for needing that engineer signature.
So then you come back in and you look, the district, and that's all within the bylaw, it's definitely in the, when I say resolutions, and I looked at the book and said, that's just disgusting. Cause the resolutions the Secretary of State does have.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
So, okay, for example.
No,
In,
we're good with this, cause you're right. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I was talking about earlier, about having those resolutions that actually need to come out and be more
Right.
clarified
right.
of that
Yeah.
matter, like, this is how we do
But
it.
there's so many
for
hookups
clarity.
and how much time, there's all that stuff in there, so you gotta make sure that that's already been
Yeah.
through. You're gonna have to replace that by reference or whatever.
Yeah, cause
But
we had
if
the
you
same
don't know
thing
where
with
it's
the
at,
pressure line
go find it.
splicing.
Yes.
See, we had a contractor who's splicing, pressure lines. You can't do that.
Sure you can, why can't you?
Not
If
one,
it's a 2-inch main and stuff to be able to go in, you can have.
you have no way of monitoring leakage and pressure, no, cause you got, in this case, he's got what, three?
yes.
Three tapped into one.
There's
We're not
three-
talking about a
three
T-bone.
lift
You got
stations.
3 stations that are tapping one line.
And it's an inch and a half PVC.
Yeah, it's not, nothing of it's by
Oh, it
code.
was nothing, see, look at what, there we go again.
Yeah.
Look at the application that started all that stuff and see how it came out.
But that's
Because
why,
If you've got 5 hookups in there, and they're just say, were they 5 septic tanks?
no, it's 5 different customers on
Five
4 lots.
residentials, yes, well, it's 3 septic tanks, all have lift stations, they all type, gentleman put his line in, and the next guy attached to his line from his yard, straight out to that inch and a half line,
And
So does the
they're
third
2-inch
guy.
lines or
and
less?
it's an inch and a half line.
See, that's too small.
And
Yes,
it's
sir.
a manhole.
So again,
So,
when that was developed, you guys still go through the planning board, that's so good, and all this stuff is simple.
Yeah.
You gotta go to the planning board, they would have records
Yeah,
on
well,
that, so if
these-
you find
these are
that
existing.
property, you could go to the planning board and see if they even had that.
right,
record.
so these are existing, and there's several places like that in town,
How long was it existing though?
all I can say is at least a year and a half, cause
Okay,
that's
so
when I got,
that's-
I don't know.
So is it?
Some of them are on the maps. and-
But so that's back to your point too, Frank, about
Yeah.
having the proper resolutions and stuff that address these type of issues.
Yeah.
That we're finding, like I said, we don't know till you dig it up and you're like, well, what the shit is this?
Yeah.
One, it's not the right pipe,
Well,
it's
when
not
I
the
met with
right
these two,
size.
That's what I was talking to them
So,
about. Getting ahold of the county and the Secretary of State's office and working with Murphy.
Yeah.
For what they have, at least he has some knowledge out of that for you.
Oh, yeah.
But Staley Engineering is gonna answer everybody your questions within the.
Well, that's
Okay,
kinda
so
where we
here-
got the one too, where they were like, you can't do that one, it's like, yeah, okay, but it's done.
Yeah.
Here's another example, Sleepy Hollow RV Park, right, they have a lift station down there. All of their trailers drain down into that lift station, and then it gets pumped up. We pay the bill for that, the sewer district, so that means you pay the bill for that. I feel that the owner of that park should be picking up the electrical bill.
This is how it was set up though, because
That's not
again,
how
this
it's
is
set
a
up.
gravity system.
Right.
So lift stations was to get further out to the pump, out to that way. This deal with the lift stations, little separate ones with that, again, it's up to the development of that property. That's why next to us, he thought he was gonna have RVs or something down there, so he
Right.
wanted a lift station. He's got 2 tanks down there.
Yeah.
And he pumps into one, and you know the reason.
Yeah.
Because that's
And,
ridiculous, but that's
Chris,
been that
that's
way
what
forever.
that's that form I got you,
Right.
is to clarifies you, cause then you're having a PE sign off on it, which is going back to what Frank's saying, is that some other engineer agreed to that assessment on that lot.
But you gotta understand, that was also put back in there, the understanding that, okay, this is a gravity fed system in there, so it's no different than any other, that's why you have a certified septic
Right.
installed.
So,
Yeah.
So when you get into the other aspect of it, where you got the lift stations and stuff, you gotta look at who you're serving. So if you've got 5 people going into that lift station, are all 5 of them paying their own separate lot? And I'm talking about the trailer court there, cause I know all the other trailer courts is an issue. It's based on how many hookups that trailer court is allowed for all them trailers, so some of them might only be part-time because they're RV. So there's analysis for that, you can't just say,
okay.
they got 10 hookups, so they're gonna get that, they may only have 5, and the other 5 are part-time, so that is all in resolution.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
There's several other, at least 8 that I know of specifically that, it serves one building, a cabin, a home, and we're paying the electric bill on there. And I don't agree with that.
No,
Right.
it's no different than, again, go back
Like you're
to my
paying-
slate.
yeah, you're
It goes
paying for
right
it,
to,
right.
you know where it's at, the meter base
Right.
there.
But I just want.
But on that
board's
aspect, on the
attention.
ownership, you come back out of there, I'll talk about that, that's also in there.
Yeah.
The district resumes responsibility of that tank all the way out to the
Good
lagoon,
thing.
but the owners of the house is before that.
Yeah, Chris, was there any other comment?
No,
I
that's all.
agree with Frank, some stuff that needs more review to make sure
Just wanted to bring it
clarification.
up, so it's on
No, it's on record.
record.
Okay, internal audit, Chris, I think we
Yeah,
settled
that
that.
was, misinterpreted, that wasn't an internal audit, that was a yearly performance review, so, you know. again,
DEQ, that was a DEQ
DEQ,
function.
yeah. Monthly meetings with the board is what I'd like to bring up, which we did prior to discuss a bit ago, about coming out to the district and taking a look around, that kind of stuff, that's all I got for that.
And that'll be part of the internal audits moving forward that we all talked about, so
Yep.
we're good there. Last one's lawyer for past actors, Susie.
I don't,
You don't have anything?
Well,
Nothing to report?
Well, I think
yeah, we paid a bill that said there was some communications going on between you and.
the last communication I had with the attorneys was when I went in to finalize the, stuff being sent to the
When was
county
that?
attorney. That was like in June or July.
Why are
I
we
think it
paying?
was like I don't know.
I know,
I can-
September, October, and December, we have 3 bills sitting in there from this law firm.
Correct.
And we do not have clarification on what it's for, what they're working on, and who hired them. I do know Susie is their client, because that is what they specified.
Oh, that's right, it's my attorney that's doing work for the board. And the board voted on and hired them to compile the evidence, and we'll go back through the minutes and show that, and if this is some type of, slight on me, because granted, he was the attorney that I hired previous to becoming a board member to deal with the previous board, because that's what the county commissioners, recommended I do.
Yep.
Hire an attorney. If you see corruption, hire an attorney, which is what I did. We went forward using Dylan and his firm because they had prior knowledge
Correct.
to what was going on. So, is there
No, I mean, you're
Some-
right.
is there some issue with the fact that, my name was originally on the?
No, because they won't discuss stuff with me because I'm not their client. So this is why I'm asking you, what have they brought up to you? Because you're
I
correct.
haven't had any communication with them since
Alright,
they
so-
sent things
okay,
out.
So, and we're good with that, but you're telling me you haven't talked to them.
Okay, can I jump in here?
Well,
I'm looking at a bill right here for 9/17, emails with Susie, meeting prior to, meeting.
That was the last time I saw him.
that's
Hold
September.
on, with prior, with county attorney. 9/23, meeting with Susie to ensure I'm up to date on all issues related to the sewer district, review financial findings with her. 9/25, email to Lincoln Sewer, meeting with detective, follow-up call to Susie to explain charging documents. And I'm just looking for the records of those.
Well,
I
and
think
this
that-
is, and your statement is matching what Bill Panda said. He hasn't talked to your attorney, or not your attorney, but those attorneys in several months either. So my question is, if you haven't talked to him and the CID has not talked to him, why are we getting billed these
I
3
did,
courses?
those were 2 phone calls and I went in and met with them.
Okay, well, that's all I'm asking for is the notes and the emails.
Yeah, because we don't
That,
have.
that's pretty
I
important
was-
information to,
Can I,
hold
can
on
I
a
just,
second, yeah, that's, I think that's pretty important information to 450 ratepayers that are covering, you know, something like maybe $100,000 in missing money in the last 8 years. So, that's all I'm looking for, and I asked you 3 times, in writing.
Sarah, what do you got for
so
that?
that one was back from September, and that next meeting, Susie did come in and say, hey, I met with them, they sent the stuff to the county attorney, and they asked us not to contact them, it's gonna be a long process, like, we had that conversation in a board meeting, and she relayed what that meeting was about and what was said.
Okay, that's fine, can I get the notes of those things, that were the minutes, and then the emails?
You can look it up in the minutes.
Or the emails and the minutes?
What emails?
I don't know, he billed you for emails right here. We paid it. He's got emails right here. on 9/17.
Okay, and the
And
other
any
issue.
emails would've come to the district, they didn't come to me.
So the
Well,
last
this,
couple bills have.
hold on, this, it's not about the billing, the issue we're having is, you're not corresponding with them. Bill Pandus isn't corresponding with them, why are we getting billed?
A lot of
'Cause
those
they
bills
haven't-
are older.
No,
They
Bill, the actual guy that they're having to meet with, the actual
Oh, in
CID.
person.
Yeah, Bill, not Bills,
Okay,
Bill Pandus, the CID investigator for the
Right.
county, has not talked to them in several months, and we have it in written email back to us. Cause that was my question, if he hasn't been talking to them, you haven't been talking to them, why are we getting billed?
But that bill saying they talked to, the invoice, let me rephrase, invoice saying they talked to Bill was from September. So if you asked him now, then yeah, he hasn't talked to him in a few months.
No, I've talked to Bill quite regularly, cause he is our investigator for this entire procedure, and when he says he hasn't talked to him, that's what he said,
At
he's
all?
waiting, yeah, not at all. He's actually reaching out to them to find out what their status is. So my thing is Susie's, thing, she hasn't talked to him, Bill's saying he hasn't talked to him, why are we getting bills, cause it's adding up now, what are we at, $3,000? 2,500 something?
I know there was some invoices from last year too, that,
Well, we know that, that part she brought up
Yeah.
is correct. We
Yeah.
used them up to January, that one we had the meeting on it, is cause they weren't our attorney. They were outside, so we were able to use them as an independent counsel to give that letter to us about the findings and the evidence, cause they weren't our attorney. That allowed us to present that to the county attorney, saying by independent counsel, this is their findings. Cause I already had my findings, Mike had his findings, so we already submitted that to CID. The second part was that lawyer who was already involved, so there was no need getting a new one.
right,
He did his independent study, we got that, paid the bill, and submitted it. Now, all of a sudden, out of the blue, here we're into September, October, December, we've got 3 bills coming in, and based on testimony here and the CID, no one's talked to this lawyer. So where are we getting bills, and on your part, why are we paying these bills without us seeing this?
okay, couple things. A, the last couple ones have come to the district with our name, would you like me to call them and ask for
I already got, no,
clarification?
I'm dealing with that one.
Okay, number 2, as far as paying what, when I was hired and up until today, it was just, you pay the bills as they come in, it needs a second signature, find a board member to sign it, you send it. That has been the process that has been in place, so I have continued with that. If that is not the process you would like,
It's
you
not
can
about the
tell me.
process, we're just
Okay,
talking
I'm just
about.
saying, that's why those bills are getting paid, because they come in, without this foreknowledge, without any direction from the board, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pay this bill, and I write the check and you pay it, and it's sent. So that's, if there are specific things you would like me to bring to you and not pay as they come in, I need to know that.
Well, we're not talking about a light bill or, a parking bill or something like that, we're actually talking about legal documents, and we're not receiving any information, that's not on you, you didn't do that part. But we are paying as a district, all of everybody here is paying for a lawyer who can't give us any documentation or any evidence of what they're talking about and what they're discussing. Our case against these individuals is a big case. We can't have just people randomly involved in doing stuff that are not contacting the legal or the actual investigator for the county.
Okay,
So if anything comes in legal from this point forward, you make sure you bring it to the board so we can see the bill, because we want to
Okay.
clarify the bill. This is
Okay,
not you're signing and doing the
Right,
stuff.
I'm just saying, I was not aware that there has been no process in place that I am aware of what you wanna see, what you don't wanna see, and I've not gotten that
Well,
communication, so
normally
going forward-
lawyers give us our stuff, so if the lawyers mailed you something, that's some correspondence
have-
we all should have seen.
Well, anything that has come through the office, through the mail, legal wise, you guys have seen.
Well, I know,
It's
that's
just
why I said, it's
like-
kinda weird, cause you gave me the labor
Invoice.
department, you gave me all the
Right.
other stuff.
So I guess it was an invoice, I paid it,
Okay,
Again,
legal,
go
and I mean anything legal, it don't matter what agency it comes from, make sure we get it, cause we can't respond, and I can't answer to the ratepayers here why we paid a $3,000 bill, who is, and unfortunately, you're still listed as their client, not the Lincoln Sewer District.
Which I did, ask
Okay.
them to send a new,
Agreement?
yeah.
Okay. And I would ask you if you would please follow up with them to make sure we get
Okay.
that, cause currently I can't talk to them
Okay,
or at all, cause you are the listed client. And two, we do have some billing discrepancies that need to be, I wanna be cleared up,
well,
'cause
this is the first I've heard.
I know, I got
This
the
is
email.
not the first you've heard of that, I've emailed you this several times.
You emailed me twice, Mike,
No,
even
3
last
times,
week.
right here. It just,
Alright,
it is what it is.
Well, and I'll tell you right now, I am under no obligation to jump when you say jump. If you can't wait for a response to an email, I don't care.
Oh,
This
I-
isn't my job.
It's
This
not my
is,
job either, but
well,
I'm looking out for the ratepayers' money that
I don't
we're paying.
believe you are looking out for the ratepayer.
We're paying a lawyer for something that we've got emails that you haven't produced.
alright, let's move forward on this, make sure, can we by Friday at least get some clarification of who's, the actual,
Yeah,
uh,
I'll
client.
call Dylan and speak with
Okay.
him.
and if you would, I would like to know the itemized billing that he submitted, cause we need to know that.
I sent copies of all the invoices to Mike.
Not invoices, I wanna know what his actual conversations
No, that's
were.
it.
Well,
That's all she has.
No, I wanna get that, what we're saying is what he actually is talking about. Cause he's saying, the lawyer is actually stating he talked to the CID. CID is saying they haven't heard from him.
Well, that's what I've been asking for.
Yeah, so we're gonna, by Friday, I'm gonna get the letter from the lawyer, if you can get me, or at the board, you know, as the client. So we can get that information, so we can clarify, is that $3,200 bill, I can't remember either, is applicable to what we're doing? Cause right now, we haven't asked the ratepayers, any ratepayer, to pay any farther than you already have on this investigation. We turned it over last January to the county and determined we would let the county come up with whatever they determine, good, bad, or indifferent, on this matter. We've submitted all the evidence, there's 3 different parties, you know, that submitted. The CID is Bill Pandis at the sheriff's office. He does have all this evidence, plus the legal brief and wrote up that we posted, you know, around town, so everybody saw it. But yeah, we gotta watch what we're doing and who's corresponding and who's sending it, cause it does come back. If this does go to trial, that they're gonna come back and then, you know, ask us what our policy and procedures were on this. So anything legal that comes in, please forward that to the board, cause I know you get the mail firsthand. But this lawyer is definitely, well, I need to get some clarification between now and Friday.
I
But,
got just a couple questions. On that $15,000 settlement from the sewer district to you, Susie, was that the same attorney?
No, it wasn't, and that wasn't a settlement. They bought access on a road that they didn't have access on.
so they bought an easement
Yes.
process, okay.
And that access,
I'm just reading
Was-
from the minutes here, it says previously awarded
that's not from
$15,000.
the minutes.
Yeah,
That's
it
a
is.
letter from,
It's right here, minutes.
It is the actual copies.
It says
oh,
right-
really?
Yeah.
Previously awarded $15,000.
And this is 2022.
In
so I'm
lawsuit, she
expecting
was
to
in
be-
touch with her.
Oh, I know exactly what.
That's fine, I was just curious if it
Ah,
was the
we-
same.
That was something that was written by somebody that was wrong.
Okay.
So,
And
Okay.
then-
and I'm more than happy to,
No, that's a
That's
fact.
contest those minutes.
That's fine. And then my other question is, Chris, have you had any contact with Zach Kitchen?
I don't even know who that is.
Okay. Okay, back to, yeah, we'll just work on this till Friday, so I definitely wanna
So
get some.
why do you have a Friday deadline on that?
Well, cause I don't want it to drag out for weeks to get a letter sent over that states we're their client. It shouldn't take 72 hours to get a letter from that. Cause that way we can actually inquire
Okay.
and find the status.
I'm sure you're gonna go for that.
Of course, as soon as I talk to them, you know. Announcements, did we have, what? Oh, was there public comment on the lawyer for past actors? No, okay. Announcements, thank you. Any letters, I don't think we already did communication, did we? I don't have any
Zoom, two gentlemen, Misters Jeffrey and Douglas Mager are subscribers, ratepayers, and, landowners here. Can you guys hear?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
hold on
I
one
like
second,
it.
let me finish introducing here. And they've got a few comments here. I'm sorry to the public if it looks like there's something fishy going on, I just set this up today, so I don't really, but I'm gonna go ahead and let them speak here. Go ahead.
Hi, Mike, and this is Doug Mager, Mayger. I'm at, we have a place on D Street, and it's 612. My mother and my brother have a place on the opposite side of us that border the river. So we're totally in favor of the sewer. Don't get us wrong. We're not here to. I'm not here tonight to complain, but only some observations. So I live in Pennsylvania, work in New York City. Love to come out to Lincoln. If there were jobs out there, I'd be out there for sure. So, but that's just the way it is today. Just from a comment perspective, you gotta get the financial stuff right. It sounds like we've been hashing through this financial stuff for some period of time, and I get it, boards change and all that stuff, but you gotta put the stake in the ground, and whether it's a lawsuit or getting the right lawyer or whatever. My worry is if it's $100,000 we're talking about, and the ratepayers are paying the $14, and truly, if legal bills are running $9,000 or whatever, you're gonna burn that up, right? It's gonna get to a point of diminishing returns, and so that's my worry, and I get it. I deal with lawyers all the time. They'll charge you for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and if you don't get the actual billing details, who knows what goes on? I mean, emails, I heard emails tonight, you didn't get emails, the board hasn't been abreast of this. You gotta get them. And what I would say is don't pay them. If you don't pay them, they'll come and they'll get a call, you'll get a call, and you gotta be transparent about that. I appreciate being able to get on Zoom call here tonight, and listen in. And I think it's good for the public, it's good for the ratepayers. It is a way that we can get involved and